Welcome back to our lecture series on control system. So this is the 14th lecture of linear control system. And in last class, we were discussing about brief idea about second order control system. What is the standard form of a second order control system? We derived the transfer standard expression for the transfer function of a second order control system. Um, and we did some analysis on that transfer function on that standard form to get the response. Response means y of t. So that analysis or that all portions are completed in the previous class, and today we are moving to the classification of control system. In last class we also defined what was damping ratio and what is damping factor, all such things. Now we can have a brief recap of some basic things from last class that we need for moving further into the classification. So this was the standard representation of a second order system. In this form, we are giving the forward path gain g of s, that is nothing but omega n square by s into s plus 2 eta omega n. This is the standard form of forward path gain for any control system. These things will be there, eta, omega n, such things will be there inside the given example. Then we have to extract by comparing the given question to the standard expression we already know to get the values of eta, omega n, etc. Anyhow, this is the open loop forward path gain. Then if we are converting it to a closed loop control system, then its transfer function is not g of s. Its transfer function is g of s by 1 plus g of s h of s. Its transfer function is, closed loop transfer function is g of s divided by 1 plus g of s h of s. So eta is damping ratio and omega n is the oscillation. There should be oscillation. If it is a second order system, there are chances for oscillation. So that oscillation is frequency of oscillation is represented by omega n. These things are there in the previous lecture number 13. If you are having more doubts, you can refer lecture number 30 before entering to the lecture number 40. Then y of s by u of s is nothing but g of s by 1 plus g of s h of s. If you solve that by taking g of s from the previous slide, and if you solve g of s by 1 plus g of s h of s, you will get omega n square divided by s square plus 2 eta omega ns plus omega n square. So this is the standard form of a second order equation. This is a quadratic equation. We need a solution for that, and for finding the solution of a quadratic equation, we have the standard equation minus b plus or minus b square minus 4ac by 2a. This is the quadratic equation. Actually, this is the characteristic equation. It is nothing but denominator of transfer function. This is the denominator equated to 0. And to find the solution of that particular characteristic equation, you have to use this equation. So solution is there in the slide. We did this derivation detailedly in last class, so I am not going into the details. Anyhow, if you are solving, you will get the roots. There will be two roots. Why we are having two roots? Because we are discussing about a second order system. The equation is starting with s square. So the highest degree term is s square. So definitely there will be two roots, s1 and s2. And its value is, by using that equation, we will get a final answer. S1, S2 are minus eta omega n plus or minus j omega n into root 1 minus eta square. And we are substituting minus eta into omega n is nothing but minus alpha. So eta into omega n is equal to alpha. And omega n into root 1 minus eta square is equal to omega d. Omega d is damped frequency of damped signal. What was omega n? Natural frequency. And then we are damping by some means, by some mechanical means or by some electronical means or by some logic. We are providing some damping for the oscillation. Then it is damped oscillation, then its frequency is represented by omega d, and alpha is damping factor. Now, if we are representing this S1 and S2 in real and imaginary axis coordinate system, then we will get this is minus alpha, this is plus JD, this will be S1 and this will be S2. Okay. Now I am coming to one more thing. So here we will get, by doing this trigonometric analysis, we will get cos phi is equal to alpha by the magnitude, and if you are solving this magnitude equation, you will get that is omega n. So cos phi is equal to, please recap, this was there in the previous class. Cos phi is equal to alpha by magnitude omega n, and alpha is nothing but eta omega n. So cos phi is equal to eta omega n by omega n. So cos phi is equal to eta. So eta is equal to cos inverse of phi, like that. So in that case, we know that if phi is equal to 90 degree, then S1 and S2 will be here in the imaginary axis. If phi is equal to 0, then S1 and S2 will be there on the real axis. What happens if phi is equal to 0 in this figure? This pole will move towards this axis, so phi will be 0. Phi is equal to 90, this pole will move towards this axis, then phi is equal to 90. So when phi will become 90? Cos phi is equal to nothing but eta. Please learn it by heart. Cos phi is equal to eta. There is a very close relationship between the phi angle and the damping factor we are providing. What is damping factor? Damping factor is something that we are providing to limit the oscillation. If it is an undamped response, if we are not giving anything for controlling the oscillation, it will be oscillating forever. We can control. If it is the final value that we need to touch, but it will never touch, it will oscillate always like this. That is the response of undamped oscillation. Undamped control system. If undamped control system, that means we are not providing any damping. Undamped means we are not providing any damping. So the damping factor eta will be, please guess. I already did this all discussion in the last class, but I am repeating these things because this is very important. So undamped means eta is equal to 0. It's common logic. Undamped means eta is equal to 0. Okay. So eta is equal to 0 means phi is equal to 90. Cos phi is equal to eta. Phi is equal to cos inverse of eta. Eta is equal to 0 means cos phi will be 90. Just mathematics. Eta is equal to 0, cos phi will be 90. So eta is equal to 0 means undamped system, and this phi should be 90. That means this pole should move to this axis. So not only that pole, when this pole moves, what happened? Simultaneously, this pole will also move to this axis, because these two are complex conjugate poles. So what happened? Both the poles will be there on imaginary axis. That represents a marginally stable system, because poles are not on the left axis. Poles are neither on the left axis nor on the right half plane. I will repeat, the poles are neither placed on left half plane. Left half plane means this area. These all are left plane. Sorry, these all are right half plane. And poles are not placed on left half plane. These all are left half plane, because poles are placed on the imaginary axis, neither on left nor on right. So that condition is known as marginally stable condition. So its response for a unit step will be oscillating forever. I am not saying for any input it will be oscillating. For a unit step and for many other input it will be oscillating forever. Okay. Then Now we know if it is undamped system, eta is equal to 0. Yeah, undamped system, eta is equal to 0. Eta is equal to 0 means phi is equal to cos phi is equal to eta. So eta is equal to cos inverse of phi. So phi will be 90 degree. So phi will be 90 degree means roots are placed on the imaginary axis. Then from the previous knowledge also we know whenever the roots or poles are placed on the imaginary axis, the system will be marginally stable, and we will get that mathematically also. This was the equation of S1 and S2 minus eta omega n plus or minus j omega n root 1 minus eta square. If you are substituting eta is equal to 0, the answer will be plus j omega n and minus j omega n. That means the roots are placed on the imaginary axis itself, and now we can see the angle is 90 degree. Angle is measured from x-axis or real axis. It is 90 degree. Now if you are giving a step input, what happened? We will get oscillatory response. If it is a marginally stable system and if you are giving step input, then it will always give oscillating response, and this will be the response. Because as we are giving a unit step input, we expect that output should be also unity whenever the system is stable. But the system is not stable, it is marginally stable. So it is oscillating around the value, but it will never touches at the value. If you are providing some eta other than 0, definitely it will come to the desired value. It will come to this line of 1 at some point. It will take some time, anyhow it will come to that final value. But if you are not giving any eta or any damping, it will never touches your final value. In last class, I said you one example of a measuring instrument. If it is a ammeter, analog ammeter, if you are measuring 2 ampere or 1 ampere current, the pointer will suddenly move to some 2 and it should come back to some 0.5 and it should stops at 1. That is the expected result. But what happened? If it is an undamped system, means physically inside your ammeter there is no damping element like spring or some mass or some air. Some methods are there for providing damping, eddy current damping. If you are not providing any method, what happened? The needle will not show the exact reading. Reading is 1 ampere, you know it, but the needle will be always oscillating between 0 and 2. It will never stop at 1. That is the physical case of an undamped system. So, okay, these things are okay. Now, I am explaining about the second classification. Up to this, we already explained in the last class also, but for getting some sort of continuity, I was explaining those things and I was trying to bring those things to your mind. That will help for me for getting more satisfaction. So now we are going to underdamped system. From the concept of undamped system, we are decided to provide some spring inside the meter, inside the ammeter. In the last example, if spring is there, when your reading is increasing, the spring will get tight, and at some point your moving torque and the torque provided by the spring will become equal, and at that point the needle will get stops. Okay, such things we are discussing in underdamped system. So if it is underdamped system, then our value of damping ratio eta should be in between 0 and 1. Damping ratio should be in between 0 and 1. The lesser value should not be equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, it is undamped system. And the highest value should not be equal to 1. It should be always less than 1. So S1 and S2, the equations are already known, minus eta omega n plus or minus j omega n root 1 minus eta square. In that, suppose your eta value is 0.5 or 0.7 or 0.2, any value in between 0 and 1. You please substitute that value. What happened? The S1, it will become minus eta omega n plus some imaginary value. and in S2 it is minus eta omega n minus some j into imaginary value. So if you are plotting these, what happened? S1 is minus alpha plus j omega d. S2 is minus alpha minus j omega d. We are substituting alpha and omega d expression in that equation. So this case was also discussed previously. Anyhow, this is the case. You will get two poles and both the poles are complex conjugates, and as these two poles are at the left side, what happened? The system will be always stable. We know that even though the poles are complex, but these two poles are placed on the left half plane of j omega axis or imaginary axis, then the system will be stable. But my question, what happens when eta increases? Please, oh sorry. Okay, what happens when eta increases? Okay, when eta increases, this value minus eta omega n, that value increases because that term will move more left with respect to the imaginary axis. If eta reduces, the magnitude of alpha also reduces. If eta increases, the magnitude of alpha also increases. So eta increases means this alpha will move towards more left from the imaginary axis. So let me ask, what happens? Will the stability increase or decrease? Which is the more stable position? If pole is placed on this point and if pole is placed on this point, which is the more stable position? If pole is very close to our j omega axis, if some sudden disturbance comes, what happens? The pole may move towards the right side of j omega axis. At that time, what I am saying, if your pole is placed here, suppose, I am not saying about the pole, I am saying about the alpha. If alpha is here, one pole will be here and other pole will be here. So the stability, for checking stability, we are always commenting about alpha. The imaginary j omega d point will not have any significance on stability, because if j omega d increases, what happens? The pole will move towards some point above the x-axis like this, but it will not have any dependence on stability. Stability only depends on the movement in x-axis. So if alpha increases, definitely pole will move towards left side. So you will get more margin for disturbance. Even though some large disturbance come, then also your pole will be there on the left side. But if your pole is placed, or not pole, if your alpha is placed very close to the imaginary axis, if some disturbance comes, what happens? This pole may jump to this side, right side. So the system will become unstable. I hope it is clear. So when eta increases, alpha increases, the real part of pole moves more away from the origin. So it will become more stable, more margin is there for some disturbance. Let disturbance come, we can face it because we are having more margin with respect to imaginary axis. So eta increases, stability increases. For a which type system? Undamped, underdamped, overdamped, critically damped? Eta increases, stability increases for a underdamped system where value of eta is in between 0 and 1. Now, what will be the response? In last class, we derived the response of undamped system by doing some mathematical derivation. You can follow the same thing for getting this response also. But I am giving that as an assignment. That is somewhat little a lengthier expression. I don't think that is that much important for exam point of view, and also for understanding you need that concept. Undamped system, if it is undamped system, the response will be always oscillating with same magnitude. But I am talking about underdamped system. You provided some mechanism for reducing the oscillation, then its response will be like this. The magnitude of oscillation will be reducing in each step, and finally it will touch the expected output. What is the expected output? That is 1 that we are providing with in the reference input, because your input is unit step. Unit step means its magnitude is 1. So if the system is stable, output should also reach the reference input value unity. So this is the response of underdamped system with unit step input. Now I am moving to the next classification, that is critically damped system. So the word critical means it should be perfect. There is nothing more or nothing less. It is critical. So you should memorize the value of eta by memorizing that word critical. So eta is equal to 1. It is the critical case. So S1, S2, this is the standard expression, minus eta omega n plus or minus j omega n root 1 minus eta square. Substitute eta is equal to 1. Damping ratio eta is equal to 1 in this equation. Then S1 will become, because if you are substituting eta 1 here, this whole term becomes 0. And S1 will become minus eta omega n, where eta is equal to 1. So S1 is minus omega n. S2 is also minus omega n. Eta is equal to 1. So what is the thing? That is, both roots are real and sorry. Here there is a small mistake. Please correct it. Both roots are real and equal. Please correct it. I will wait. In your notes you should correct it. Both roots are real and equal, because magnitude is omega n and its value is same, and there is no imaginary term, because this imaginary term becomes 0. This total term became 0. So but both are, and these both roots are placed at which plane? Left half side plane or right half side plane? Value is minus omega n. Then both roots are placed at left side. Then the system will be definitely stable. So, and you should know that if you are providing critical damping, you are not providing underdamping. Underdamped means you are providing some value in between 0 and 1 with some time. Based on that value, whether it is 0.1 or 0.9, I don't know. Based on that value, your response will settle after some time. But it is critically damped, you are providing some perfect damping. So system will become stable. Now location of pole, because both the poles are there, that's why I am drawing some diamond shape. Both the poles are placed at same point, 2 poles at same point, and both are at the left side. Now if you are giving unit step input for such a system, this is the output line of 1, this is the line of 1. The system will touches the line of 1 as a smart guy with some perfect behavior. This is a perfect or ideal behavior of a control system. It will start from 0 and it will gradually move, and it will not delay, it will not show some high delay. The raise time is somewhat accurate. It will touch the final value with a small time. So this is a critically damped system with some unit input. Please write 1 here. This point, magnitude of this point is 1. Now we came to overdamped system. The word meaning itself indicates the damping value will be over. It is somewhat over. Normally we say that person is is overreacting, like that. We are providing some high damping. Damping ratio's value is greater than 1. So if you are substituting in the standard equation minus eta omega n plus or minus j omega n into root 1 minus eta square, as eta is greater than 1, the first term will be like this only. It will get some magnitude where let eta should be greater, let eta be greater, no change will happen. But for the second term, what happened? Eta is greater, so eta square will be greater than the first term. So the total term, anyhow, if you are doing nothing, a minus negative sign will come outside from that. So for avoiding that, we are rearranging. We are taking a negative from this one. So minus root 1 should come outside, and the term is rearranged as omega squared minus 1, sorry, eta squared minus 1. Now it is okay because first term is greater and second term is lesser. But you have to take minus 1 outside. So root minus 1. What is root of minus 1? It is j. So here you are having already a plus j into 1j. Here my root of minus 1 is also j. So j into this j. J into j is minus 1. So finally this term plus will become minus or negative. Minus eta omega n minus omega n root eta square minus 1. This is the first root for overdamped system. Then if minus is here, because in S1 we are giving plus here, that plus is converted as negative by doing this calculation. If it is S2, what happened? If it is S2, what happened? Again we are taking root minus 1 outside. So it is j, nothing but j. J into j, it is minus 1. Minus into minus, final answer will go to plus here. Minus eta omega n plus omega n root eta square minus 1. So these two poles are having different value. Because is there any imaginary term? That is important. It is not a complex term because j is eliminated from both the roots. Here also it is a real term. This one is real term and this one is real term. In second root also this one is real term and this one is also real term. No imaginary terms are there. So what happened? You are in S1 there is minus and minus. Two negative terms are there. So its sum will be higher. Its magnitude will be higher. In S2 one negative term and one positive term. So its magnitude will be the difference. Magnitude will get reduced. I think you are making sense. Okay. So S1 and S2 will be like that. As S1 is having two negative terms added, it will be more negative, and S2 one positive term is subtracted from negative term, like that a difference operation is happening. So S2 its magnitude will be less negative. So what happened? Both roots are real and both roots are placed on real axis and both are at negative side. Both are placed at left half plane of imaginary axis. So the system is stable. At this moment the system is stable. But I am asking, what happens if eta is increased further? Our condition was eta should be greater than 1. Eta may be 2, eta may be 3, eta may be 10. Eta is not having any limit. We are commenting that it should be greater than 1. So if eta is very high, what happened? Let us think. Eta is very high, what happened? The second term is minus eta omega n plus omega root eta square minus 1. This term will become more and more dominating if eta is become increased, because we are multiplying that also with omega n, and here we are multiplying just eta with omega n. So the positive term become more significant. That means when eta's value increases, this S1 term will move more and more towards more and more left side, and but when eta increases, the S2 term will move towards more and more, it will approach more and more towards the right side, or it will move towards the imaginary axis. So I think you know that the stability, which pole is having more significant role in stability, S1 or S2? Let S1 move towards negative infinity, we are not having any issue, it is stable always. But S2 is very significant, because if eta increases, S2 comes towards, when eta increases, S2 comes towards the left side. So, sorry, towards the right side. So S2 is having more significant. We should watch S2. So when eta increases, S2 comes towards right side, mean stability reduces. If S2 jumps to right side, what happened? System will become unstable. Whether S1 is there on left half side, there is nothing depending on the final comment about stability. even though S1 is there on the left side, but if S2 jumps towards right side, the system will become unstable. If at least one of pole is there on the right half plane, system is unstable. Whether how many poles are there on the left side or not, it is not depending on the stability. At least if one pole is there on right side, definitely system is unstable. So if eta increases, S2 should move towards right side and system will become, there is chance for the system to become unstable. You can check that with some practical example. Put some value for eta and put some value for omega n, and you do what happens. Anyhow, eta increases, definitely stability will reduces for the system. Now, what is the response? If you are giving a unit step input, its output should reach 1. But as the system is highly overdamped, what happened? Overdamped means, consider the example of that moving instrument, ammeter. So initially it was undamped. You didn't provide any damping system. Then you provide some simple mass damping system. What happens? It will have some oscillation, but somehow it stopped after some time. It sees that the final value. So that is an example of underdamped system. And then you provide critical damping. You abstracted the exact behavior of the system and you developed some typical control system. Then when the current is given, it will finally move and stops at the pointer is stopping at 1 ampere current. That is, it may not be a practical case, but that is the concept. If it is finally stopping at 1, that is critically damped. But if you are doing over damping, some high mass is connected for damping the spring, what happens? The needle will fight, will have to oppose highly for moving towards the final value. I think it's clear. If you are providing some high damping or high friction on the spring, it is not easy for the needle to move to the final value very fastly. It has to overcome that friction also. So what is the issue? The needle, anyhow the needle will reach at the 1 because damping is there, but it will take some high time as you are giving some high friction, over damping. We are not required such an over damping condition, so that the needle has to fight against that damping factor. So the system will become slow. If it is over damped, the system will take high time to reach the final value. You can please check in the reference. If it is critically damped, it will move like this and it will touch final value very easily. But it is, as it is over damped, the response is moving very slowly. It is racing. It is taking more racing time. I will explain such terms later. Racing time, delay time, such things are there. We will explain in the next class. Anyhow, it is taking some high time for getting increased to some percentage of final value. Suppose this is the 0.5. It is taking somewhat high time for reaching to 0.5, and anyhow it will touch the final value with the same high delay. The delay will be high, so it will take some high time for reaching the final value, final steady state value. This is the response of overdamped system for unit step input. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Even though this is a small area, this is somewhat very important area, and I will tell you, you can do some examples where these different cases are happening. Suppose if we are normally taking s square plus 5s plus 6, 1 by s square plus 5s plus 6, that is poles are s is equal to minus 2 and s is equal to minus 3. Please think under which category that comes. Definitely both poles are real and values are different. So which type? Both poles are different. This is the type, s is equal to minus 2 and s is equal to minus 3. So you should know the value of eta is overdamped. Eta's value is greater than 1, and you can do that analysis. Okay, you can take s square plus 5s plus 6. Compare that with standard equation. What is standard equation? Omega n square by s square plus 2 eta omega n s omega n plus omega n square, sorry, omega n s plus omega n square. Compare all the terms with 1 by s square plus 5s plus 6. Then you will get some nice conclusions. That is the real sense of this analysis. That's why I did some more, I engaged some more time for dealing this area. And from next class we will be doing some problems on this by understanding eta, omega, and from some second order system like that we did in the example just before. We will do some problems not like this. We will do some problems seriously on that area, and then we will go to the time domain specification like rise time, delay time, such some important terms are there that will come in the next class. So thank you. We'll see in the next class.